All right, in this video, I'm going to teach you how to start winning bigger jobs. So my name is Blenkinsopp. I own a company called Digital Roofing Innovations. I'm a U.S. military veteran. I'm a licensed general contractor and roofing contractor in over 9 states. Now, the reason I made this video is some of you guys are new to the industry, or you may have been doing this for a while, and you just need a little bit of guidance or a little push on starting to win bigger projects. Well, I promise you, I've been there before. We started off, and our very first contract that we did was a little tiny residential roof for $6,000. Now we don't do any projects less than $250,000. I'm going to show you how we started winning larger contracts and how you can do the same for your business. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you really 4 steps to I feel like you can start winning some of these larger projects. Well, rule number 1 is you have to start thinking big. Okay, if you always think that you can only do small residential roofing jobs, and guys, listen, there is nothing wrong with you being a residential roofing contractor. I know plenty of people who run residential roofing companies who do very well for themselves and enjoy themselves. So don't think that I'm one of these guys who think it's bad that you do residential. But if you are someone wanting to do larger jobs, you have to think that you can do larger jobs. Now, part of that is you also have to start going after those jobs. And as you know, going after a larger project is just going to take more time than you doing residential roofing. So that brings me to my point with inside this of thinking big is you also have to start thinking about low overhead. And that includes cutting out some things in your business that you may not need. Now, you may drive an older truck and think that you need a newer one. Well, if you want to start winning some of those bigger jobs, you may have to go with a little bit longer runway for your business in terms of how much capital you have. Now, I'll tell you the quick story with us. We were doing a bunch of residential roofing and we were starting to do more apartment complex jobs. Well, I read the book called Good to Great by Jim Collins, and he talks a lot about the hedgehog theory. And it completely opened my mind on what projects we really should be going after. So immediately I called my business partner, and him and I completely changed our strategy within a month and completely quit doing residential roofing just to chase after commercial. Well, what that turned into is in less than a year, we tripled the amount of revenue that we had done because we started going after those bigger projects. Now, with that said, it took us a few months to start winning those projects, but when we started thinking big and we started cutting our overhead, we started winning those bigger projects. So remember, on this rule is think big and cut your overhead. Okay, so point number 2 is you have to set appointments with large property management companies and then the brokers who actually own these properties. Now, whether you're going after apartment complexes, you're wanting to do new roofs for Firestone tires, or you're wanting to do new roofs for Walmart, the point is you have to meet the people who's in charge of these decisions or your decision makers. Now, I was fortunate enough to have a business to business or a B2B sales background prior to me getting into roofing and construction. Now, there's a big difference between B2C or business to consumer, which is what residential sales are, versus B2B, and that's business to business sales. And the number one thing that you have to do is you have to be able to set appointments and get in front of these people. Now, there's several ways of doing this, and we're not necessarily going to talk about lead generation, just because I hate the word leads. I think it's one of the most overused words in all of roofing and all of construction in general. But I want to talk about how to get in front of those people. Now, believe it or not, cold calling actually works if you know how to do it. A lot of ways you can just cold call these people is tell them why you're calling, because they're not going to be receiving a lot of calls from people like you, because a lot of people in our industry don't have the type of background to land these appointments, but just let them know why you're there. Secondly, you can just do drop-ins. If you find a large property management company and you can actually get in front of them, most of them are going to have gatekeepers that's going to keep you from getting to those people, but I promise you, if you're persistent, you can start meeting these people. But no matter how you do it, whether you cold call, you drop in, you start building relationships, LinkedIn's another great way you can start meeting these people. The point is you need to get appointments and get in front of these people and show them why they need to give you a chance to do projects on their properties. All right, so since we've kind of already started doing this, and now I don't feel like, a lot of people are our competition anymore. I'm going to kind of reveal my secret to how to start winning more jobs in multifamily and also other commercial projects. And one of the keys is starting to go to conferences. Guys, going to conferences, and not just the trade shows that you go to for roofing and construction, but the conferences for the people who actually own these large-scale commercial projects or commercial buildings and these large-scale apartment complexes is a key to being able to meet those power brokers and those decision makers within those companies. Now, what we started doing is we started going to a lot of affordable housing, multifamily conferences, and we were the only roofing contractor to ever go there. And when we're the only roofing contractor, you have a chance to meet a lot of people. Now, a lot of these different, property management companies and some of the owners may not know anything about public adjusters, storm damage restoration, and you may be able to come in and actually show them how to save a ton of money on their insurance claims if that's the type of work that you do. Also, be prepared to be able to be competitive with your bidding on projects. If you only do storm restoration work, that's totally fine, but I think you are missing out on a chance to win a lot of projects if you learn how to competitively bid. But again, your third point is you need to go to conferences outside of just doing the roofing and construction conferences. Okay, so my last point is you need to learn how to start doing negotiated work. Now, bid work and negotiated work kind of work hand in hand. Now, if you've done storm damage in the past, you've actually done negotiated work and you just didn't really know it. And what I mean by negotiated work is point 1, 2, and 3 is to build up to this point. You need to learn how to build relationships with people. Because once you build those relationships, you can start actually getting clients to come to you for projects. And when they do, instead of you just doing an open bid and having to compete against other people that may have a competitive advantage or not, they're just going to start calling you directly and expecting you to come do their projects at a fair price. Now, for instance, we have a client that's our #1 client for multifamily, and whenever they have a project that comes up, they call us directly. Now, if it's storm damage related, we'll go out there and inspect the property just like we would if it was any other storm damage. But a lot of times they just need a new roof on a project. And what we do is we provide a fair price, and if they feel that our price is competitive with what they would normally pay, we just get the work. And obviously your profit margins can be a little bit better with that because they're willing to pay a little bit more for your services because they know that you're going to do a good job. Now, if they just bid it out, they could go with the lowest bidder and they may or may not get the same quality they get from you. So the advantage of having negotiated work is you can bid some of your projects like you normally would at 30-40% and still be able to maintain a long-standing relationship with your client. Obviously, you have to do great work with that, but the whole point of doing negotiated work is you have to build long-term relationships with these people who own or manage these properties. All right, so I tried not to take up too much of your time. Those are my 4 major points on how to start winning bigger jobs. You have to think big with low overhead. You have to start making appointments with the people who are in charge of these projects. 3 is you have to start going to these conferences to meet people. And lastly, you have to learn how to do negotiated work if you want to continue to win these jobs over time. Now, this isn't the end-all be-all and the only way to win projects, but that's what's been successful for our company. Now, we went from, again, doing these little jobs for residential roofing just 3.5 years ago to now we only do projects over $250,000. And trust me, guys, that's not me bragging. I don't have all the answers. I'm just telling you what we've learned, and trust me, we've done plenty of things wrong in the process, but these are the things we've done right to be able to start winning some of these jobs. Now, if you enjoy our content, please give a subscribe to our channel. We have a lot of stuff that's coming out, particularly for you roofing guys out there. Sorry, my binder's getting blown away. And if you enjoyed the video, guys, give us a thumbs up. It really helps out our channel. And make sure you go to our website at digitalroofingcompany.com. And as always, at Digital Roofing Innovations, we believe in using a modern approach with traditional values. Have a great day.